Detour, let's connect with Poonam and she's going to identify some big volume movers for us. Hi Poonam.
Hi, we do have Redington India, Infosys as well as Hindustan Zinc. On Redington India, 21.5 lakh shares have been traded, which is volumes are close to 8 times the 2-week average. The stock is trading below its 100 and 200 DMA, and these are the highest volumes seen since the mid of June this year. The company has transferred its supply chain logistics business to its wholly owned subsidiary, and the stock is up close to 3% today. Again, Infosys, we just heard the management out there. 14.7 lakh shares have been traded. Volumes are 2 times the 2-week average. The stock has gained considerably since it has won the US visa case, and the stock was down 12.6% YTD, and high volumes have been seen in the last few trading sessions. The stock is trading as of now close to 100 DMA. Lastly, we have Hindustan Zinc. It's one of the divestment candidates again. 19.5 lakh shares have been traded, which is close to 2 times the 2-week average volumes. Now, the highest volumes are seen since, again, the first week of August this year, and stock has gained considerably and is trading above all DMA. Back to you.
All right. Thanks for that, Poonam. Also, in a bit, we'll get in what dealers are talking about the market. I'm told that Darshan joins in with a quick perspective on what dealers are suggesting this afternoon. Darshan, what are you picking up from your sources?
See, Tanveer, in the morning we spoke about the tire stocks, and C8 as well as JK Tyre, both of them have rallied close to 10%. Now what we hear is a lot of these funds have started accumulating these counters, mainly on the fact that rubber prices have cooled almost 30 to 35% recently, but they have not in the same way passed on the benefit to the consumers. And in fact, if you see Apollo Tyres, they have actually increased the prices of tires by almost 20%. So there's this big gap that is being seen at this point of time, and that is what that is what a lot of these funds are actually playing for. So dealers are anticipating another 15-20% up move in C8 as well as JK Tyre, but this will take some time. It's not an immediate move in the medium term, and a 5 to 7% up move on Apollo Tyres and MRF. The next counter that they're speaking about is Reliance Capital, in which a lot of domestic funds are accumulating. The stock is doing well in trade today, up almost 5%. So another 5 to 7% in the next 5 to 10 days is something that is anticipated. And the last one is United Spirits. You cannot miss this counter, because what is happening, despite everyone knowing what the story is, either Diageo or Pernod Ricard might buy in the stake. That is the news that everyone has. But dealers are saying 1050 level in the next week is something that the stock can crack, can easily go up to in the next week.
981 rupees for United Spirits. Stay with this stock. Flip it around 1 week, 1 month, and you'll be surprised. In fact, the 1-year change also is quite extraordinary. Wockhardt, let me just remind our viewers, suffered with the same, kind of a syndrome. Everybody was factoring in a near bankruptcy for Wockhardt, but Wockhardt has actually recovered by about 300% this year, and ditto for United Spirits, which is up almost like 100% in this year itself. This year Wockhardt, mind-boggling. 350% up. The 2008 low for Wockhardt was something like 160, 170. It was certainly below 200 rupees. So from 200 to 1263, for someone who got the move right, it's been a 5-6 packer. But we'll stay with the dealing room theme. Darshan has identified some pockets for us. Let's go to Gargi for some more ideas.
Well, worth looking at the Sterlite and Hindustan Zinc over the next week. Dealers are expecting some further upside on these stocks. Remember, on 28th August, there is a meeting called by the Vedanta Group mainly for considering the stake buy in Hindustan Zinc and Hindustan Zinc and Balco, the residual stake that the government has. Also, like to reiterate that the government has put Hindustan Zinc also on the radar for divestment, though no concrete news on the date that they are looking at has come out. But probably a run-up expected in Hindustan Zinc going forward from these levels to Sterlite, almost 4.7% increase. Hindustan Zinc also saw a very good run-up today. Also take a look at DLF, and dealers are expecting almost a 230 rupee kind of level on this stock in the next 5 to 8 trading sessions. A very good technical trend that dealers are seeing on this counter. Also, debt concerns slightly eased after the land sale that they had done. Since then, we had seen some strength on the counter today. Also, about 3.4% increase on DLF. Cipla, on the other hand, it's broken above the 360 range that we had seen, a bullish signal that it's giving above this level. 380 is the target that dealers are talking about. Remember, post the results, we had seen quite a bit of quite a lull on this counter, almost 1.5 weeks. We saw practically no movement on this one. Today broken above that, 1.5% increase. 359 is where Cipla is trading right now.
All right, Gargi, many thanks for that. That's the plan of the session. Let's get in closing strategies. Darshan, thanks very much for your research as well through dealing brokers. Let's just go across to Ashwini and Mitesh once again to get a quick perspective on what they would be recommending in the last 10 minutes of trade. Ashwini, come to you, 320 closing strategies.
Well, I would go with Hindustan Zinc, and this is a buy with a stop about 127, and we could look for targets closer to 147, 148 on this one. So I think metals are due for some kind of a short covering rally, and Hindustan Zinc could lead that rally.
Mitesh, what about your closing strategies?
See, as a BTST, I think, Reliance Capital, which is typically a high beta stock, and given the fact that market will close above 5,400, looks like a good possibility. I think that's the stock to be explored. 383 could be a price target over here, and 367 or just below that should be the stop loss.
Jagannathan, one closing strategy from you as well.
I think it is better to maintain long on the Nifty, as we were discussing in the beginning, that 5400, if it gets broken, probably 100 points at least upside is due. I think one can go with the long in the Nifty.
Jagdish Malkani, thank you for your patience. I know you're still there. I won't ask you today tomorrow question. What should medium-term investors do? Stay on the sidelines and enjoy their fireworks, or they should also now participate and not miss on the market momentum?
Well, I'll give you a two-pronged reply. Longer term, I think the value lies in some of the beaten sectors, but right now there's no signs of this kind of skewed party changing. So in that case, the nimble-footed traders could dart in and out, but these sectors are going to stay strong for a while. I mean, there are no signs of abating. The FMCG, private sector banks, pharma, the usual suspects. But on a contrarian play, I would, for example, Tata Motors, I think the worst seems to be over. The JLR story is still robust, and I would play that through the DVR.
Jagdish, also in terms of, the kind of moves that we are seeing in a Tata Motors or Infosys, even a Reliance Industries for that matter, some of the index heavyweights, which would be your preferred trade?
To be honest, none of the above. I think Reliance has moved up a fair bit, but however, the problems have not gone away. So I would be careful. It can get caught. I mean, the whole market's moved up very stridently, and it's time for a pause. Of course, this is accompanied by a global move, similar. Even there, S&P, etc., are making new highs, but around now, you should have a reasonable correction, whether it's inspired by events in Europe or whatever. But so I would be cautious. Another biggie I would look at is Hero Motors. That's not participated, and there's no reason why it shouldn't play catch up with Bajaj Auto.
What about financials? I mean, in today's rally, we're not seeing too much participation from that end.
Yeah, so I would, the two HDFCs continue to make new highs, but I would look at other smaller private sector banks, which are off the radar, but I like them longer term, like Karur Vysya, for example.
Jagdish, where is deep value in this market? Beaten down infra stocks, most of them are now available in single-digit P multiples. PSU banks, which are now approaching towards book value, or in metals, which are now available below the replacement cost?
I think infra does look pretty attractive, but the more the pedigree names, for example, Siemens or Thermax, or those where leverage is not too large an issue, or and governance. But PSU banks, I think there's still pain ahead. There's still too many known unknowns, as it were, about NPAs, restructured assets, etc. Maybe the fear is overdone, to quote the SPI chairman, but I think there's more pain ahead, so I would be careful.
Check on Nifty futures, 54.21 for Nifty spot, 54.22 almost now for Nifty spot. But Nifty futures, like I mentioned, they're trading, with a premium of about 23 to 24 points. So you add another 23, 24 points there, which means Nifty futures are now trading at 54.42. When we started the day, Nifty futures, the premium had contracted to a single digit, but because markets have exhibited strength, the fact that the opening turned out to be the lowest point of the day, traders are back. Now these are day traders, these could be positional traders, because bear in mind that even though the futures activity, the Nifty futures activity is not at a 6-month high, the FNO activity has picked up. So the activity in the call market and then the put market has really, shown a marked improvement. The other stock I want to check is McLeod Russell. In a rising market, McLeod Russell has taken a knock of 9 rupees. Tea prices are still looking extremely strong because of poor monsoon. Tea prices will only help north. Ashwini, do you think somewhere McLeod Russell has been a big disappointment?
See, it has also rallied, it rallied when the market was even declining. So all stocks go through corrections, consolidation, and it's also the interest of the market. Now that people are getting traction in better quality stocks, so this tea sugar will take kind of a back seat, but that's not to say that it's going out of the window. Chances are around 295, 300, it will again find buying support.
Nitesh, you spoke about tire earlier, and the move there has been smart. How sustainable is this move, price and volume wise?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
The tire stocks in this session. You suggested CEAT, but I was just asking you broadly, how sustainable is the move?
I think, the kind of breakouts which I believe are happening on tire stocks could be slightly medium term to about long term in nature. For example, a CEAT, I think after months of failing to get past and close the ball levels of 115, I think today that's happening. I think a similar setup is happening on stock like JK Tyre. My sense is that 25-30% is the minimum I think these stocks should possibly give from here, despite the fact that they've already rallied by about 20% in the last couple of weeks. I think at least 25-30% more from current market prices should happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks in the near future. I think this breakout not only confirms that you have momentum in the short term. It's also important in the fact that we are crossing and getting past important weekly and monthly trigger points, and I think minimum I would expect here is about 25 to 30%.
All right, Mitesh, stay on with us. We'll wind up the market session. 54.19, that's a 1% build up on the index. Purely that came in the last hour, so the volume pickup in the last hour would also be interesting. I reckon that would also have been high from the average volume traded for the session. Cumulative impact of coming back from a long weekend could have also helped market sentiment. Tata Motors is up 2.5%. There's Infosys, news related, up about 2% in the session. The cement majors Ambuja ACC have done well. Commodities in Assesa, Sterlite, SAIL have performed. Aside of Tata Motors, there's M&M from the passenger vehicle space, which has done well, about 1.5% higher for that one. GAIL and ONGC have contributed. Aside of Infosys, TCS has also looked up in the session. On the losing side, Bharti Airtel is down about 1.5%. Likewise for Ken. Punjab National Bank is a bit soft, and Reliance is also at around 813 in the session. So a bit of a step back really coming in for this major.
Okay, IT really has done the trick for Indian markets today, and that's quite heartening because more and more sectors are now participating. Last week, early last week was dominated by metals. Then we saw some select outperformance kicked in when it comes to a name, energy stocks. And now IT also is chipping in quite smartly. I also want to point out the Bank Nifty, because the Bank Nifty of late has not been a strong contributor, but today the Bank Nifty has recovered quite smartly from the day's low. So if you're just trying to map the Bank Nifty and the Nifty's half an hour performance, I think they've moved in a synchronized manner. Like our technical experts have been pointing out, that for markets to stay above 5400 or for Nifty to go closer to 5600, the Bank Nifty has to participate. Just to give you a number, directly indirectly, the Bank Nifty has a 21 to 22% exposure or weightage both on the Sensex and on the Nifty. State Bank of India up 18 points, Can Bank 342, HDFC Bank was not a big performer today, but HDFC Limited is now marching towards a new all-time high. The biggest gainer was Infosys Technologies. News was backing that stock. TCS also had a strong day. So whichever way you cut and dissect, we had a good start to a new week. 54 points up for the Nifty, 193 points up for the Sensex. Once again, India was one of the best performing market in the entire region. If you look at China, today has appreciated by about 0.5%. Rest of the other, other developed markets in the region, be it Korea or Japan or Hong Kong, they were up, but they were up marginally. So strong day for Indian markets. Who would have thought we would go in